NHTF program office hours and the consolidated plan overview presentation. So I will be starting off this meeting today with this presentation, and then I'll pass it along over to the NHTF team to then facilitate the program office hours part of this meeting. Also, this meeting is being recorded for purposes of being available to you later. So thank you for your time today. Welcome to the State of California's 2025 through 2029 Consolidated Plan, also known as the CON Plan overview, hosted by myself. My name is Chelsea Muehlman. I work in the Division of Federal Financial Assistance, DFFA, here at the Department of Housing and Community Development, HCD. So a little bit about myself. I've been working at HCD for about 6.5 years now. I started out in federal programs and worked my way through on the state program side, also worked in budgets and managed federal and state programs in the budgets office. And now I made my way back to the federal programs that I love, and I'm currently the manager for the HUD reporting team here. And what we do is we manage and implement plans and reports that are federally mandated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD, our federal government. So right now we are beginning the planning process for the 5-year federal consolidated plan, and that will cover fiscal years 2025 through fiscal year 2029. All right. And here we have the agenda for today. So we'll start out with a CON plan overview, a basic overview of what the CON plan is. And then we'll go into the structure of the CON plan, what the different sections are in the CON plan. And then we will talk a little bit about the community engagement, consultation, and citizen participation part of the CON plan. And then how we at HCD incorporate your feedback. And then we'll talk a little bit about the submission of the CON plan and what we do with that. And then an opportunity for any questions or comments or feedback. So please feel free to write down anything, any questions, comments that you might have along the way, and we can address those towards the end. So one thing also to note is that the purpose of the presentation today is to give you an overall understanding of the CON plan and a little bit of context of what that entails for a heavy amount of outreach and engagement that we are in the beginning stages of planning. And some of that includes an upcoming online survey that we'll be sending your way once the questions are finalized. We are still finalizing those survey questions, and we are hiring a consultant team. So we're waiting for them to be on board as well to get those survey questions finalized. So this is just something to be aware of that will be coming down the pipeline in the next few weeks. Some other things we are planning to do is host some focus groups in the summer months throughout California. So that will be in person and virtual as well. And we're looking for your feedback, and we just want to know what you're providing feedback for and how your feedback and participation will help HCD to achieve our housing goals. So that's the purpose of us being here today. Okay, one thing that I did want to mention also is that if you have a cell phone and want to take it out for this presentation, we have a few slides that have a little some discussion and live polls. So you can scan the QR code that's on the screen, and you can also just go to the link that we're going to put in the chat, and you can use your web browser as well to take this. It's a little survey, but a poll. So the first one that we have, let's see, it looks like it's working perfectly. Awesome. So it's just basic. What is your current level of knowledge of the state of California's 5-year federal consolidated plan? Awesome. And it looks like most of us do not have any knowledge of the CON plan, so this is perfect and some of us maybe have some. So great, this is perfect, and hopefully this presentation today will be beneficial. So thanks for participating. All right, so what is the CON plan? The CON plan is a 5-year plan that first examines housing and community development needs of Californians and their communities. So what does this mean? It means that we here at HCD, we conduct extensive outreach and engagement to the public and to our stakeholders to hear from you and to determine what the challenges, barriers, and needs of the communities are, so that we can then take that information and incorporate it into our CON plan. So the other part of what the CON plan does is it lays out and plans how the federal funds will be used to address these community needs and ultimately improve the quality of life for all Californians. So the CON plan is our federal outline over the course of the next 5 fiscal years. So let's discuss the federal funds mentioned on the prior slide. We here at HCD serve as the state of California administrators. We receive funding for our federal programs directly from the federal government through HUD, so also the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development that we call HUD. The way that we receive the funds are annually typically around March or April. So right now, we're expecting to receive our annual allocation sometime soon. And then we enter those allocation amounts into our annual updates to the CON plan, also known as annual action plans. So you might have heard of the annual action plans in the past, and those are annual updates to the overarching 5-year CON plan. So we lay out a plan over the course of the next 5 years to include strategic goals and goal outcome indicators to work towards. We have estimated distribution of funding and resources, and also how we plan to implement those goals, strategies, and funding throughout the next 5 fiscal years. So this document is a HUD requirement, and it must be approved by them in order for us to continue to receive that funding for our federal annual base program. And those programs are listed here on this slide. So we have the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG program. We have Emergency Solutions Grants, our ESG program. We have the Home Investment Partnerships program that we call HOME. We have the Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS, our HOPWA program, that is administered by a different state department, the California Department of Public Health, and we coordinate and work with them to get their information. And then we have the CDBG Disaster Recovery and Natural Disaster Resilience programs, our DR and NDR programs. And then last but not least, we have the National Housing Trust Fund, the NHTF program that you are familiar with. So those are our programs listed there. And then one other thing related to the federal funding is that this is applicable mainly to non-entitlement areas that do not receive the funds directly from HUD. So these jurisdictions are the ones eligible to participate in these HCD administered programs. All right, so a little bit about the structure of the CON plan, and so what makes up the CON plan. So each of these sections in the outline and structure of the CON plan comes directly from HUD's database that we use, and that's called the Integrated Disbursement and Information System, also known as IDIS. And then what we have here is basically the CON plan is broken into 4 sections. We have the needs assessment part, that's first, and that consists of data analysis of housing and community needs for low and moderate income residents. And then we have the market analysis portion that is also very heavy data analysis of housing market and economic condition. So those 2 parts of the CON plan make up a really big part of the CON plan. It's a couple hundred pages of a lot of data, a lot of analysis. And I say that to say that all of that data a lot of it comes from you, and it comes from our outreach and engagement. And so that's that bullet point that I put first here on this slide. The community engagement, consultation, and citizen participation part. That's basically our public participation. And what we need to do is identify priority needs from the public and from our stakeholders, so from you. And once we conduct all of this outreach and engagement, citizen participation, our consultations, we take that information and we incorporate it into those needs assessment and market analysis sections of the content. So then after we do that, we have what's called the strategic plan. And that comes after the needs assessment and market analysis parts are drafted. So all of that data is also based on the needs assessment and market analysis data and your feedback. And the strategic plan includes the strategic goals that we are working towards. And then lastly, we have the annual action plan, and that is year one of the 5-year con plan implementation details. So basically what we are doing and implementing in year one of the con plan. So in this case, that will be fiscal year 25. And those annual allocations I talked about that we receive from HUD each year, those go into this part of the plan. And it's essentially an update annually with a little more detail of the distribution of funding that ties to the overarching conflict. Okay. So here's one more, we have another little slide, a little feedback poll for you. So you can either scan the QR code, or we have we're putting the link in the chat for you to view it on your web browser as well. So we have 3 questions there. So it's basically some questions to determine what you prefer. We're looking for more ways to network and incorporate your feedback. Do you like in person? Do you like virtual environments? We also want to know which method do you find most effective at reaching the members of the community, so that we can then incorporate that type of outreach as well. Do you like roundtables? Do you prefer focus groups? Do you like community meetings? We have even existing community events that we're trying to coordinate. And then lastly, if you have any ideas to share new and creative ways that we can be better with engagement and connect more with the community and the public, we are very open to that type of feedback as well. So feel free to do this now, or respond later as well. This slide is open continuously. So with that, we have community outreach and engagement that we are trying to do with our outreach. We are also planning to perform consultation with public and private agencies, and this is to enhance coordination on programs and policies. We also will be doing extensive citizen participation, and we're, again, looking for as many ways as possible to network and to incorporate your feedback. And it looks like we are, if we prefer in person or virtual in this group, we're pretty much even right there. So that's great. And then with our networking, let's see. And we really like roundtables, so that's interesting. That's great. I would love to incorporate some roundtable sessions in this con plan outreach. Also, the presentations, webinars. Awesome. Thank you for participating in that. All right. So the last of our little live polls here today. So here are some discussion questions. So again, the QR code you can scan. We're also going to put this last link in the chat for you to fill these out. So the first question that we have here is the NHTF program provides funding from the federal government to invest in affordable housing for extremely low income, so that's at or below 30% AMI for individuals and families. Which of the following NHTF funded activities are most needed in your community? So you can rank the following options with the first as the greatest need. And to do that, you can just click on whichever one you would like to put first and drag it and drop to rank. The second question we have here is to identify the top 5 barriers to affordable housing development in your community. So again, you can rank it the same way. The first as the greatest need, the last one as the least greatest need. So these are examples of questions that we are seeking to determine our con-plan goals and associate goal outcome indicators to each goal. So goal outcome indicators, we also call GOIs because we love our acronyms. GOIs provide a benchmark for determining progress in achieving the goals, and they are useful to ensure that our goals are measurable and include specific targets. So the GOIs can help describe what the jurisdictions actually plan to achieve over the course of the 5 years. So we estimate the GOIs throughout each of the course of the 5 years. And what's cool about these polls here is, we have these types of questions planned in our, massive survey that we want to send out. But when we're in these presentations and these groups, we can see how each other ranks what the greatest needs are for each of us. So it's different for everyone. But in this group, it looks like constructing new affordable rental apartments is the winner here. So it's the #1 NHTF funded activity. And then if we go over here, we can see that the greatest barrier in this group right now is complexity of funding. And the least greatest need right now is state laws and regulations. So wonderful. Thank you for participating. And if you had anything that was like an other from the question to another greatest need, you can I believe that you can type that in. Wonderful. All right, thank you for that. So I'll go ahead and move on. So how we at HCD incorporate your feedback into this con plan. So what we do is we collect all of the data, we aggregate it, we organize, sort it, all of the feedback and survey data. Then we incorporate that into the needs assessment, market analysis portions of the con plan. After that, we use that data to determine new con plan goals and strategies. And so your feedback is very crucial in contributing to how HCD creates and implements these 5-year goals. It's based on the needs of the community. One other thing that we will be doing after we conduct all of this outreach and aggregate all the data, we will have a public hearing webinar just on the community needs and the results. So lastly, how we do the con plan submission. So how we submit the actual con plan. So after we complete the drafting of the con plan, we post the document to the HCD website, and then we offer a 30-day public comment period. Actually, I believe for the con plan, it is 45 days. So we will be offering 45 days for you for the public comment period. And then we will have a public hearing as well in that time frame so that we can have a presentation again with all of the detail of the con plan. And then after finalizing that and the public comments are incorporated, we at HCD will submit the plan to our agency for their review. And then lastly, we'll submit to HUD by May 15th of 2025. So it's a very extensive and long process, and the con plan is a very large document. But I just wanted to stress again that your feedback is a really big part of making this happen. And then we will put the link to, so currently we are in the con plan that's covering fiscal years 2020 through fiscal year 2024. So we are in the last year of the current 5-year con plan right now, which is why we're prepping for this new one. But Alexis will go ahead and put the link to the current con plan in the chat so that you can take a look at what we are currently under. And that's what I have for you here today. So I will open it up to any questions or comments or feedback or anything that you'd like to go over. And also, Alexis put in there the link to all of our plans and reports. So feel free to click on that as well, and it will show you all of the con plans, all of the annual action plans that are under those con plans as well. And also, let's see, one more thing is, if you would like to get in touch with us, our email is consolidatedplan@hcd.ca.gov. So we will put that email in the chat also. And there it is, perfect. So please reach out to us if you have any questions, any feedback, any comments. We would like to just try to make this as easy as possible for you. All right, and if there are no other questions, thank you so much for attending. Appreciate your time today, and just be on the lookout for some other upcoming events and focus groups and surveys and things like that that are related to the con plan. And I will go ahead and pass it to Shelley and Anne for the NHTF office hours.
Thank you, Chelsea. I guess, are there any questions for us for the program itself? Thank you, Chelsea. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you. Thank you.